Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Timur El-Gohari. I am the founder of NeuroVision and hold a PhD in medical sciences. NeuroVision is a company focused on developments in artificial intelligence and blockchain. And today's topic of my presentation is BRICS ID, a digital passport on the blockchain. So, can I get the clicker? Let's imagine a world where companies and people living in BRICS countries can easily and securely interact with each other and interact with each other without any barriers, and the possibility of their interaction is made possible by the fact that at the moment, a world where people can interact with each other without fear of being deceived, without fear of fraud, and so on. A world where trust and transparency become the foundation of international relations. Is this possible? Let's figure it out today. As you already know, BRICS countries represent about 50% of the world's population and around 40% of global GDP. That's a huge economy, and nevertheless, it still needs organization and improvement in international cooperation, and faces the following challenges and problems. The first problem that exists is distrust and fraud. More than 5% of company revenue is lost in international transactions. Over $600 billion are lost due to copyright violations. There is a complicated system for verifying partners. More than 80% of companies face difficulties when entering foreign markets and, in fact, can't really understand who they're dealing with. What are the barriers to hiring? Bureaucratic barriers to hiring foreign labor, both in our country and in other BRICS countries. What is limited access to services? It's difficult for people from abroad, both expats and migrants, to get access to financial and government services. And for us, there is a need to implement innovative technologies in international cooperation. First and foremost, we see the need for standardization and verification. And according to McKinsey, this will reduce company costs by about 20 to 30%. We need to increase trust and reduce losses from fraud. Increasing trust and security when using innovative technologies will account for more than 50%. And the third point I want to highlight is speeding up processes and giving users control over their data. What does that mean? It means you can decide for yourself who gets access to your data, when, and which data you share. According to Gartner Privacy, this level of trust will increase the number of transactions between our countries by 40%. So, I imagine that. Just a second. Yes, and actually, our solution is a digital passport on the blockchain, or, as we want to call it in this session, BRICS ID. What is it exactly? It's a unified system for verification and identification. What does that mean? As you know, users have to go through verification multiple times. On different exchanges, in banks, dozens of times. We propose introducing a one-time verification system where the user can reuse this data multiple times. For this, blockchain is needed to provide a secure environment, to build trust, and to enable these operations and the delegation of this data. What does blockchain provide? Decentralization, security, and transparency of access. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, 84% of companies see the advantages of using blockchain. And the third point, which I'll touch on later, is contract signing and digital inheritance. Everyone thinks about the fact that they have cryptocurrency, digital assets, and the question always comes up, who will inherit them? The same applies to any of your personal data. This could be notes, documents, passwords, and so on. There needs to be an environment where people can pass on this data as an inheritance. So, what is the concept behind our digital passport? It's what's called a Soulbound NFT token. Anyone familiar with crypto understands what a Soulbound token is. This is a token tied to a person's identity, which can store all personal information. A public key for signing documents, KYC data that is verified once and then stored. It's an authentication system, which I'll also talk about a bit later. And, of course, data encryption, which makes it possible to reliably ensure the confidentiality of any interactions between companies and individuals. We call this blockchain trust. In stark contrast to the majority of projects existing in the cryptocurrency world, where the process of creating nodes is typically synonymous with mining operations and generating monetary income, we, however, view the blockchain within this particular concept primarily as a robust technological environment that fundamentally ensures the complete and total security of data storage. And that's why we use the proof of authority algorithm in it, where nodes, that is, the units that verify transactions, are distributed all over the world and are responsible for organizing the availability, security, storage, and immutability of this data. And even if all the nodes are, let's say, shut down, as long as at least one node remains, it will store records of all the data and participants in this blockchain. Naturally, this is a verified storage of data about individuals, companies, and projects, which all participants can access. And in this way, we create international integration among all participating countries. How does BRICS work in this case? One-click verification. According to Accenture, one-time verification can reduce, speed up verification processes. Passwordless authentication ensures that your password can't be lost, stolen, overheard, or guessed. Instant information about counterparties. In other words, you can find out everything about a company you're dealing with in another country or about a person you're planning to hire. And, of course, signing contracts and collaborating with international partners. What is instant contract signing? Let's imagine two situations. One is when you want to hire someone and need to sign a contract with them. Currently, services offering such solutions allow you to upload a document. But first of all, they are tied to a specific country, and they don't guarantee that your document won't be read, either by company employees or by someone else. In the environment we offer, that's impossible. The document is signed with the keys of both parties, or, if there are several, with multiple keys, and only you and your partners can access it. In case of a dispute, of course, one of the parties can publish the document. This is natural and understandable. The same thing can happen when you meet with your partner or potential partner, and he wants or you wanted to share some confidential information, and you need to make sure that the person agrees to keep it confidential. You need to sign an agreement. Even if one of you doesn't have a digital passport, the person can get one in just a minute. I'll show you how this works. And you can take a photo of the document and sign it right there on the spot. This way, it becomes a legally significant transaction anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. So, what does this one-click verification actually provide? Quick access to services around the world, instant verification, reduced fraud, convenience, and security. Here's how it works. You go to the website. You see a button there, you click it, and you have two options. Either use your selfie as a login or scan a QR code. Actually, many of you have probably already encountered this technology. This demonstrates that any login to the site, as well as any registration and transfer of verified data, occurs in one click. That is, for example, you decide to undergo verification on some exchange. You can. This data is used on any other exchange. This means you can join any project without wasting a single minute of your time and become its client. You are trusted, and you trust the project. What is this based on? On our technologies. The NFS technology is a facial recognition system, an advanced technology that ranks in the top 30 worldwide. Document recognition technology. This refers to government-issued documents, about 12,000 types. Documents that are verified in less than 1 second. Liveness check. This means we verify that there is a real, live person in front of the camera, in front of the monitor. Not a deepfake, not a photo, not the screen of another phone. And this technology also includes a fourth component. This is fraud detection. More than 40 algorithms ensure that the documents are not fake. Well, I think everyone has come across this technology. It's quite advanced in certain cases. It can determine various additional parameters like gender, age, and even a person's mood. It doesn't matter how many years have passed since the photo was taken. Even if it was in poor conditions, the algorithms are so advanced that they can still recognize the person. The same goes for document recognition. All the data is extracted and recorded into your token. How does liveness work? I think everyone understands what that is, but I'll explain it again. So, in our case, liveness means randomized tasks are given to the user, and they complete them within a few seconds. This way, the system understands that there's a real person in front of the camera, and not a photo or a robot. The same applies to anti-fraud measures. At the moment, we can check any kind of data. There are many use cases, but one of them is, of course, the interaction between the government and citizens. These processing times can be reduced by up to 70%. In B2C interactions, trust in services increases when purchasing goods. Companies are able to sign contracts faster because there's no need to verify who you're dealing with or communicating with. The number of transactions between users also increases. There are, of course, a wide variety of advantages. These include easier access to services, reduced risks, and improved international cooperation. This isn't an exhaustive list, but let's just say the possibilities here are endless. Let me touch separately on the protection of intellectual property and digital legacy. As already mentioned, businesses and countries suffer significant losses from data theft and, above all, copyright infringement. A digital passport makes it possible to store assets and register your copyrights for various works. This could be music, it could be text works, it doesn't matter, these documents become international. In other words, your digital legacy is preserved in every country in the world, essentially at the same time. What kind of future do we see for such a passport? It's a global social network for business, with public profiles where companies and individuals can prove their authenticity and identity. This, in fact, allows businesses in all countries around the world to develop together and build projects. In closing, I would like to invite companies and government organizations from all over the world to collaborate, so that together we can overcome barriers, create a new platform for trust, and open up new opportunities for business. We are already working with companies like Ozone, Joy Money, and Olive Bank. These are companies that, like all of us, understand that the digital identification market will grow to enormous proportions by 2030. And even now, it already represents a significant share of the digital business sector. Colleagues, thank you for your attention. Here is our company's contact information. You can join our Telegram. If you have any questions, feel free to write to us. We will be happy to respond.